Hello and welcome to another MyTunes podcast right here at manxradio.com.
Marc Tyley, the nation station, Manx Radio.
MyTunes this week, Billy Biketruck on the line, ready to come over here in the guise of Billy Ward, a man of many names and many motorbikes. Billy, welcome to MyTunes.
Thank you very much, and a man of many talents.
Well, I think so. I know so. Now, you're doing a big talk in the Gaiety when you get over here, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I've got a really cool evening at the Gaiety Theatre on the front there on the 2nd of June on what used to be called Mad Sunday. And it's all about my exploits, working with the likes of Charlie Borman, the Hairy Bikers, Ross Noble, and a particular mega cameraman called Claudio Volplanta. Claudio Volplanta, for all the bike aficionados would know, he was the incredible cameraman from Long Way Round when Hugh McGregor and Charlie Borman went around the world on BMW motorbikes. And the cameraman, as usual, was always there capturing everything. Even when things were going bad for the boys, he was going through the bad or also capturing everything, so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that when people do extraordinary things and it's turned into a telly program, there's not just them out there, there's other people who are making it all happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so when Bear Grylls is hanging off the end of a helicopter and we're watching him, there's a cameraman hanging off the other end filming it,
Yeah, and it's easy to forget, really, because you're just so focused on the person in the shot and not everything else that's going on around. How did you get into all this malarkey, Billy?
Wow. So it's interesting that one of my first records, first tracks, if you like, on your show is something called Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. And that is the woman who I fell in love with a long time ago. My first love, absolutely beautiful woman, gorgeous, brown-eyed girl, brown skin girl as well. She was from South America. And we got married. We had 3 gorgeous children. She became a massive divorce lawyer, really top of her game, the best that there is. And I thought, wow, my life's made here now. My life is made. Like, I'm working with, living with, married to this top divorce lawyer. And how did it end up, do you think?
I'm struggling to guess what happened next, but go on, tell us.
So after a long time, being fair, she divorced me. And it was the divorce of all time. It was incredible. It was scary as. And I was literally on my backside, right? And thinking, oh my God, what has hit me? After 20 years of marriage with 3 kids and everything, it was a disaster. And I was working in a great job. I was traveling all over the world, working for Accenture, a big corporate organization. And anyway, so I was divorced. I was hanging on by the skin of my teeth to sanity, really, because we can joke about it now, but at the time it was horrific. And anyway, this TV program had just come out, 2005 this is. So the TV program was called Long Way Round with Hugh McGregor, Charlie Borman, going around the world on BMWs. And I watched one of them and I thought, oh my God, it was such an escape. It was such a relief to get away from this horrible mother of all divorces and then have this program that I could just dial into, sit in my living room and just escape around the world. And it was so good that I would only watch 15 minutes of it. It was an hour show. I would watch 15 minutes and put it away, and I'd wait for a whole week to watch the other 15 minutes because it was literally the only thing that was keeping me sane. And I just loved it. And I remember thinking, I could be Hugh McGregor's friend. I could be Charlie Borman's friend. I could travel around the world and do that stuff. Well, bizarrely, I ended up being Charlie Borman's friend. I literally ended up traveling around the world. I've been all over the world with Charlie, South America, Central America, Australia, not long back from Australia with Charlie, all over Africa, know Africa really well with Charlie, literally all over the world with Charlie. And it is a bizarre story that 1 minute you're hanging by the skin of your teeth, by your fingernails to sanity because of your life being turned upside down. And a little TV program, which was an award-winning, sold in 75 countries, etc. And that triggered a whole new life for me. And so that divorce, the way it's funny with divorces, sometimes, well, not divorces, with changes in life. sometimes people are sort of strong enough to radically change their life, and they go off on a massive tangent and they change their life completely to the better, you know? But sometimes it's sort of forced upon them, and by a drama or a trauma or a tragedy or whatever. And for me, it was because of this massive divorce, 2005, long way around, saved my life, and it triggered something that ended up connecting me with Charlie Borman. I've been working with him ever since.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing and running, hey, hey, skipping and jumping in the misty morning fog with our hearts that thumping and you, a brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. And whatever happened to Tuesday, it's so slow. Going down the old man with a transistor radio, standing in the sunlight laughing, hiding a rainbow's wall, slipping and sliding all along the waterfall with you, a brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. So hard to find my way now that I'm all on my own. I saw you just the other day. My, you have grown. Cast my memory back there, Lord. Sometimes I'm overcome thinking about it. Laughing and running, hey, hey, behind the stadium with you. My brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing?
My guest this week is Billy Ward, on the line ahead of coming over here to really enthrall us with tales of daring and possibly a bit of lunacy as well, because he's been on his motorbike all over the world, including war zones. Now, this is where I want to go today, Billy. Why?
Well, I'm lucky enough to have worked with a guy called Charlie Borman, traveled around the world with Charlie Borman, Africa, South America, North America, all over the place. And by connecting with Charlie, I came across this really incredible man called Claudio Von Planta. He was the cameraman from Long Way Round. People who are big followers of that adventure motorcycle, they'll know of Claudio Von Planta. And me and Claudio became good friends, and we've traveled here and there. He's a very, very pro-Middle East kind of a guy. He's got a lot of history as a war correspondent working in the Middle East. I'm very pro-Africa. I've got a lot of history traveling around Africa, all over Africa. And one day, over some vegan food and lemonade, we started arguing about whether Middle Eastern adventures would be more adventurous than African adventures. And about 2 weeks after that drunken argument evening, I got an email from Claudio Von Planta with nothing written in it at all, but one attachment.
Oh.
And I double-clicked that attachment, and that was my ticket, my flight to Iraq. Now, at the time in Iraq, Mosul, the second biggest city in Iraq, that was often referred to as the second city, was under siege because ISIS were hemmed in there. And the coalition, the Western coalition, the Americans, the British, the Peshmerga army, the Iraqi army, the Kurdistan army, they were all basically trying to finish off ISIS, who were trapped in Mosul. And Claudio came up with this great idea. Why don't we get on motorbikes and we'll resolve this issue about which is the biggest adventure, Middle East or Africa, and we'll ride across the Middle East from Iran, across Iraq, up into Kurdistan, and then back down south into Iraq and into Mosul. And I said, no, we can't go to Mosul, Claudio, because that's where ISIS are. And he said, yes, we will go and we will film the end of ISIS. We'll film the war. And I went, oh my God. And I was absolutely, to be quite frank, I was absolutely terrified.
I'm not surprised, but you did it, and it was it okay? You've got all your limbs and your faculties. How dangerous was it?
Well, the irony is that Iraq and Kurdistan, the north of Iraq, they're incredibly wonderful people, really, really wonderful people. They have this way about them that they always want to invite you in. They always want to look after you. Multiple religions up there, by the way. I mean, it's not just all Islam and Muslim. There's Christians, there's Yazidis, a big population of Yazidis. There's Zoroaster, but there's all sorts of these weird religions that I'd never even heard of, to be honest. And the people are marvelous. And if you went to Kurdistan today, you would be well looked after and you wouldn't be riding a war zone, okay? You would be enjoying the hospitality of northern Iraq. But when we went when it was a declared war zone. So there was battles going on, and we flew into Iraq in the middle of the night, which apparently is a bad time to fly into war zones. So it's better to go in the daytime. And it was scary. Yeah, it was scary, but it was a big mishmash of a lot of like in your stomach fear, where it's just rumbling in there, like, I hope we're going to be okay, or what's going on tonight, or whatever. And at the same time, literally bowled over by the warmth and the friendliness and the hospitality of the Iraqi people and the Kurdish people. And it was incredible. So it was a mixture of lots of emotions,
Oh, I get it. Let's have this second track, Long Way Round, Stereophonics. What's driven you to that one?
Well, the whole connection with Claudio, the connection with Claudio. Claudio was the cameraman from Long Way Round. Stereophonics, famously, friends of Ewan McGregor, did this track, amongst others, for the series, the famous TV series, The Long Way Round. And this show just resonates with me because this show literally changed my life.
Remember me, my love, I'm the one you're dreaming of. I'm going for a ride, I'll keep you warm inside. I'm gonna roll up the sidewalk, I'm gonna tear up the ground. I'm coming round to meet you, the long way. Get me off this track. Gotta do what it is that I do, then I'm coming back. Got the sun on my face, sleeping rough off the road. I'll tell you all about it when I get home. Gonna roll up the sidewalk, I'm gonna tear up the ground. I'm coming round to meet you, the long way round.
My Tunes. This week, we're a little bit apart for now, although we won't be on Mad Sunday because your man is coming to the Gaiety on the 2nd of June, and he is Billy Ward. Billy, thank you for doing this, setting us all up, getting us ready for the night. It's going to be a great night. TT, let's talk about TT. Are you a fan of this event?
Oh, I'm a massive fan of the TT. You know, the nice thing is, been to the TT many times. Here's a big one. There's a famous film about the TT called Closest to the Edge. You may have come across it, Mark.
We know it well.
Very famous film. And I was there when you were filming it, working with Ross Noble. I tour managed with Ross Noble. And we were doing the Gaiety Theatre that week. And we had about 10 days on the island watching the TT. And we ended up getting a walk-in pass onto that film. I am there next to Ross Noble. Ross Noble's being stupid as usual, and I'm in the background trying to think, wow, I'm in the show here. And so I remember when it first came out, when it aired in theatres, if you remember. When it came out, it went to the theatres, cinemas, and then it went to DVD, etc. And I went on my own to a cinema in Newcastle upon Tyne, just on my own, because I seen it came out, and I was sitting there and I watched it. And at the end of the show, this bloke leaned across to me, tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "I'm not being funny, mate, but we start you in there." And I went, no, no publicity, And then on the way out, we were walking out the foyer, and he said, "Hey, why'd you? I think the white hair, same in Africa. Whenever I'm in Africa, they always come to this guy with the white hair, the white man with the white hair sticks out a bit." So yeah, I've been to the TT many times, and I just adore it.
Well, it's going to be great to have you back over here as well. Now then, when did you get on a motorbike? When would you first? Do you remember?
Yeah, from the very beginning. Like I was born in Liverpool, but brought up in Ireland, and born in Liverpool in a pretty rough, poor working class estate. I remember getting a Honda 50, a step through Honda 50. Yep. That was my first introduction. I must have been 11 or 12. And I remember it was all falling apart. And so what me and my mates did, we got the little Honda 50 engine, which was a neat little compact engine, and we put it onto a steery. Do you call them steeries in the Alamo?
Yeah,
little go-karts.
Go-karts, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
With pram wheels, pram wheels, string to sit. And we put that Honda 50 engine onto a steery, a go-kart, and that's when I got arrested.
Oh dear. But it didn't deter you. You got back on and then got a different bike.
Yeah, I've got bikes ever since, really. And of course, my main job really is traveling the world with Charlie Borman and others on motorbikes. So I'm always riding the big BMW Adventures, the Triumph adventure bikes. My sector, if you like, is the adventure bike sector. I know a lot of the people at the TT will be there on sports bikes, but what, anything with two wheels is a motorbike, and it does it for me.
Fantastic. Let's have a bit of Lynyrd Skynyrd, and you're going to tell me why.
It's funny, like, part of my career is after blagging my way into getting to know Charlie Borman. I went to see Charlie Borman doing an evening show on his own after he did All the Way Around, probably 2005-06. And I got to the show, and in a very brief nutshell, the show was really poor. You couldn't see him, couldn't hear him. People had paid £7 each, and the people were shouting out, "We can't see you, we can't hear you, Charlie." It was just in a pub. And I went up and said to him at the end, everyone was queuing for autographs, and everyone, and I said, "I don't want your autograph." I said, "I just wanted you to know that I thought the anecdotes, the content tonight, Charlie." I was so excited to see him, by the way, because he was a legend for me then, and still is. And I said, "The show was crap, wasn't it? The show was pretty rubbish. No one could hear you. People were whinging and complaining." And he looked up at me, and he was a bit, shocked and a bit surprised. And he said, "Well, what are you, some sort of theatre producer?" And this Irish Scouts thing inside my head said, "Don't do it, Billy." And I went, come on. And I went, "That's exactly what I am, Charlie. I'm a theatre producer, and I could make that show that you've just done this evening into a national hit. We could do a whole UK tour." I said, "Let's talk again after this. I'll come and see you." Long story short, he was over the moon. Wow, theatre producer. I was never a producer. I was a computer geek. That's what I worked on computers for Accenture. That's what I did. And so I got on a train. I went to London. I was going to Charlie Borman's HQ with Ewan McGregor, Russ Malcolm, all of the core element of Long Way Round. It was like a pilgrimage for me. It was amazing. And I got off the train in King's Cross from Newcastle on Tyne, and there was this machine on the platform. And it was a machine that you put a £5 note in, and then a little typewriter appears, and you type, this is like, 2006 maybe, and you type in whatever you want on the business card, and you pick the template, and it gives you 20 business cards come out hot straight from the machine on the platform. Theatre producer, Billy Ward, phone number, and off I went to the headquarters of Long Way Round. Russ Malcolm, the TV producer, he's a big noise, like, sort of always talking about return on investment and ROI and all this. And he was the best who collared me, and he said, I've got your business card there, Billy. And I went, I actually am. Gave Russ the business card, one to you and one to anyone who wanted one, they were getting a business card, theatre producer. And from that day, me and Charlie agreed that I would write and produce a theatre show, complete blank, no idea what I was doing. And I wrote and produced a theatre show of Charlie Borman live. And we took it all around the UK, 42 nights on the road. And the penultimate song before we walk on stage, Sweet Home Alabama, scares the life out of me because it gives you that 3 minutes time, Billy. You're walking out there in front of 1,000 people. You better be ready. And it's scary. It doesn't matter how many times I do it. I get this terrible fear, stage fright, whatever you want to call it.
Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home just like you, singing songs about the
My guest on My Tunes this week is Billy Ward. You might know him as Billy Biketruck. He's here in the Gaiety for Mad Sunday, a brilliant show coming up. And I've got a funny feeling you might just get your harmonica out if we ask nicely. Is that right?
Well, you know, when you travel around the world, often in places such as the Sahara Desert, the Atacama Desert, the Namib Desert in Namibia, and I've traveled across all of them deserts. You know, there's nothing better than when everyone is around the campfire or everyone is like finally in their sleeping bags or whatever, and then you just basically get a little mouth organ out, and I'm talking a blues harmonica, only like 3-4 inches long, and then start playing. Let's say, for example, you play a national anthem. Say you got a lot of Aussies, and you play the Aussie national anthem, or you play the Scottish Flower of Scotland. And you will, honestly, the reaction that you will get is incredible. The emotions from people when they're thousands of miles away from home and they hear a song that means something to them. And one of them songs is the next song that we're looking at here. And it's the Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. And the reason that connects everywhere is that it's one of them ubiquitous songs. It doesn't matter whether you're in New York. It doesn't matter whether you're in Namibia, whether you're in Scotland, whether you're in Ireland, whether you're in Dublin. That song will resonate with people in that audience. And I learned to play that song, and I play that song. I've played that song all over the world. And even in a little sort of mud hut village in Africa, and everyone will be trying to join in or dancing along to it. It's just an incredible song. And you know, from a man who, you know, was an incredible man, you know, and only died recently, really, you know, from the Pogues, like, you know. And, you know, I think when it first came out, it was Shane MacGowan and Kirsty MacColl. Sadly, now both of them dead.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible song. It always works. It always works. Doesn't matter whether it's, you know, the summer or the winter.
Well, we're going to play it in just a second. We can't wait to have you here. Looking forward to the show immensely. And safe travels. Enjoy the TT. We've talked about that. I know you're going to be all over it. And we can't wait to see you. Billy, thank you for coming on to My Tunes.
Oh, well, listen, it's fantastic to come on and especially to connect songs with real life events and how they mean things to people. Like, so they really meant a lot to me. And I'm so looking forward to being there on the night. We're going to have a fantastic time. I'm going to hear tales of woe, tales of adventure, tales of excitement, drama, near misses. And I'm looking forward to telling them tales and having a great night at the Gaiety on the 2nd of June.
We wouldn't have it any other way. Billy Ward, thank you.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain tune. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas, I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true.
They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the windows right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome,
You were pretty queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more.
Sinatra was swinging, all the drunks they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NYPD choir were singing, go away, babe. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day.
my bed.
You scumbag, you maggot, cheap, cheap, lousy faggot. Happy Christmas, you're ours. I pray God it's our love.
The boys of the NYPD choir still singing Go Away Bride, and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. I could have been someone.
Well, so could anyone. You took my dreams from me when I first found you.
I kept them with me, babe. I put them with my own. Can't make it all alone. I built my dreams around you. The boys of the NYPD choir still singing Go Away Babe, and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day.
Fairy Tale of New York. He's right. Billy's right. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. That is just a stunning piece of music. Billy Ward has been my guest right here on the MyTunes podcast. Thank you for dropping by. I'm Marc Tyley. Pop in when you can to the Marc Tyley Morning Show. You know, there's some of it you might even enjoy. 9:30 to 12, Monday to Friday.